Hello there dear YouTubers, my name is King1993 and today I'll be talking about another Valkyrie character in the game. Now before starting this video, to understand that this is a beginner's guide only. The reason behind that is I do not have enough money to buy enough crystals so that I can get all of the weapons and the stigmata set. Since that is not possible for me, I thought why not make a guide for the beginners so that the beginners will be able to take full advantage of it. So without further ado, let's get started. So today's character will be called Durandal. Durandal is not actually the original name for this character. The original name for this character is called Bianca Ataegina. Okay. Now here's the thing. Bianca Ataegina has total 3 type of battle suits. One of them is Valkyrie Gloria. One of these is called Diancora, and this one is called Bright Knight Exilium. Now this one is an B rank. Okay. Sorry, not B. Yeah, this one is a B rank. This one is a S rank and this one is a double S rank character in the game. Okay, so this one two are considered as a fire DPS type, as you can see by the fire mark, and this one is a physical damage dealer. Okay, so that is basically it for the Bianca Ataegina character. Now let's talk about their weapons. So in order to know about their weapons, let's go to the weapon section and then click on the weapon called lance. Okay, now once you have come to this place, let's start from the bottom. So this one and this one is basically for the physical Bianca Ataegina character or the physical Durandal character. But here's the thing, if you are thinking, okay, there are two pre-arm options, but which one is the best? This Abyss Flower is the best because this Abyss Flower can do about millions to even billion amount of damage if used properly, whereas this one I have seen many people use several 100,000 damage. So based on the amount of damage dealing it does, obviously this what should I call it, Abyss Flower is the best option for Bianca Ataegina. Okay, I mean the physical Bianca Ataegina. Now what about this Sagittarius Astra? Now this Sagittarius Astra is basically for Diancora. Okay, but here's the thing, since there are no fire pre-arm weapon for the other Bianca Ataegina, for example Valkyrie Gloria, okay, I suggest that you use this weapon on both of the fire DPS Valkyrie Durandal. Okay, now when it comes to some other free-to-play options, well, there is another option for this one. For example, this one does physical damage dealing, and basically you can give this physical damage dealing to the physical damage dealing Durandal in the game. Okay, and these are basically the 5-star version, no need to explain. Now this one is something that if were to given to any of the Biancas, both of them will be able to take a certain amount of benefit out of it. Basically speaking, this is a 50-50 fire damage dealing and a physical damage dealing. So based on that, if you do have this weapon, okay, you can give it to both of the Biancas and they should be able to appreciate the damage dealing of this weapon, because it is written here, wielder steals 22.0% bonus total damage. So based on that, it is basically a dual purpose weapon. Now this one is called Eos Gloria. Now this Eos Gloria was originally meant for Valkyrie Gloria, but the thing is this weapon still doesn't have a pre-armed version. Because this weapon doesn't have a pre-armed version, basically speaking, you have to give the owner of this weapon, Valkyrie Gloria, this Sagittarius Astra as an alternative. This weapon is great both on the Diancora and the Valkyrie Gloria. Okay, so this is basically it from this weapon section. Now most of the options which I have shown you are basically weapons that are not easy to get because you require crystals in order to get them, but there are some free-to-play alternatives that you must need to know. Go to this equipment section, click on this weapon and click on force, and then click on this lance weapon again. Okay, now let's start with the basic one. So basic weapon are basically weapons that are basically free to get at the beginning part of the game, and the amount of materials you need are also basically easy to get. Okay, now here's the thing. This Lucia is a weapon which was first available when the Valkyrie Gloria character first came out, or let's say Durandal character first came out. So basically speaking, if you want to do a large quantity of physical damage dealing at the beginning part of your gameplay by using, let's say, physical damage dealing Durandal, then I suggest that you stick with this Lucia. Okay, now if you want to do a certain amount of fire damage and a large quantity of physical damage dealing, then this endothermic lens is a very good option for both of the fire damage dealing Durandal character, because if you just read the description you should be able to see the difference. Okay, for example, there is 700% of physical damage dealing and 400% of fire damage dealing, whereas this one has 600% of physical damage dealing, another 300% of physical damage dealing. So this is a very good indication of where basically the power is distributed. Okay, now when it comes to the bounty weapon, do understand that bounty weapon are actually better than basic weapons. Now for the bounty weapon, there is this weapon called Abyss. Okay, now the question is these two Abyss same? I don't know actually. All I know, this one is called Abyss and this one is called Abyss Flower, but their 5-star version is basically not the same. So let's start with the Abyss. Okay, now Abyss, if you read the description, is basically a physical damage dealing weapon. So I think this one is a very good option for the physical damage dealing Durandal. Okay, because the more you upgrade it, the more stronger this weapon is gonna become in the physical damage dealing category. So as a secondary option, or let's say as you go to the higher level, then this Abyss weapon is gonna become the main weapon for you in the game. Now as for this one, as I've already mentioned, that this one are basically weapons you can make. Okay, if you have the 5-star version of it. If you do not have the 5-star version of it, you basically cannot make this weapon. That much difficult this weapon is. So I highly suggest that you get the 5-star version of this weapon in order to make this 6-star pre-arms. Okay, now let's go to the stigmata set of each of those Bianca character. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about this one. So for this one, her recommended set is Lovenhook, T and B, and Thales M. Basically speaking, this is basically the best option right now available as a free-to-play player. That is, you can get the maximum amount of damage dealing using this set. Okay, so yep, this one is a bit up to date, no problem with that. Now let's talk about this one. For this one, she has her own original set, and her own original set is called Shakespeare Adrift. Okay, so if you have Shakespeare set, only then she will be able to do the maximum amount of damage, and otherwise if you do not have this Shakespeare set, then you can basically use the Valkyrie Gloria's stigmata set on this one, and she'll still be able to provide a large quantity of damage dealing. Now as for Bright Knight Exilium, okay, go to this equipment section and you will see that the best one available is Dante. Now here's the thing, as I have seen Marisa's Honkai video, and based on that, all I can say that the best option for this Bianca is to replace this last one, bottom one, with Alicia 1. Okay, so basically speaking, if you have Dante T, N and Alicia B, only then she will be able to do the maximum amount of damage, physical damage dealing available by this Bright Knight Exilium character in the game. Okay, so out of the 3 characters which I have just shown you, only 2 of them requires a stigmata set that requires you to use crystals. So what are the alternative? For the alternative, I suggest that you go to the equipment section, select on the stigmata set and select on force. Once you have done that, select on the physical one. Okay, now here's the thing, there are total 5 categories of stigmata set: basic, G1, G2, G3 and G4. Basic are one you can get at the beginning part of the game. G1 are basically the, let's say, sacrificial set for G2. G2 is a sacrificial set for G3, and G3 is a sacrificial set for G4 stigmata set. Okay, so let's talk in that way. So for the basic one, I suggest that you start with Marco Polo. The reason behind that is, if you just use Marco Polo and hit on the enemy, you will eventually get your Marco Polo set activated, and based on that, all I can say that Marco Polo is a very good set. Just hitting on the enemy, it will activate them. Okay, so this is the reason why I recommend many people to use Marco Polo as a very beginner set for any of the physical damage dealing character. Now once you go to the higher section, you have to understand that one set will become a sacrificial set for the above one. Okay, so based on that, you have to select in that manner. So I suggest that you start with Ekaterina. So Ekaterina will be a sacrificial set for Michelangelo. Michelangelo will be a sacrificial set for Direct, and Direct will be a sacrificial set for Alicia. Now do understand that you can also take a shortcut, but if you do take a shortcut, do understand that you have to start from at least Michelangelo. Now the reason behind that is you can basically get all of the Michelangelo in 3 months. Okay, in less than 3 months. And what the main importance is that you will actually still have a stigmata set which will help you do the gaming a bit easier. Okay, it will make your physical damage dealing character a bit easier to use. Now once you have this Michelangelo set, you can use this Michelangelo set as a sacrificial set for Direct. Otherwise what will happen is each of the Direct set is gonna take about 2 months to get. So instead of taking 2 months into 3, it is gonna be 6 months. So instead of taking 6 months to get all of these Direct set, even though it is not directly easily available, I suggest that you start with this Michelangelo, and then you will be able to sacrifice them as a Direct set. Okay, and then what will happen is instead of 2 months, you will be able to get all of these Direct set in 3 months. Okay, and if you were to sacrifice this Direct set to this Alicia set, then you will be able to get this Alicia set in another 3 months only. Okay, so 1 month for each of the stigmata set. Okay, so that much difficult it is. If you start from this place, it is gonna take you about 6 months to get all of the Direct set, whereas if you were to start from this place, the amount of material you need is almost gonna be equivalent. So from that perspective, starting with Michelangelo, then going to Direct, and then going to Alicia set is a very good option. Okay, now what about the fire? Now for the fire one, at the basic category, you have to start with the Fuhua musician set because it is a very good option at the beginning part of your gameplay. Now as you go to the higher ground, you will see that there is Hikokumaru. Now why Hikokumaru? Because Hikokumaru is a sacrificial stigmata set for Thales, and Thales is a sacrificial set for Leeuwenhoek. Now as I've already told you that if you can basically do a shortcut and you can go for this Thales set. Okay, now here's the thing to remember, that you should not sacrifice Thales set if you want to do maximum amount of damage. But if you are hoping that there will be a G4 stigmata set in the future, only then you can get all of the Leeuwenhoek set. Okay, but if you want to, let's say, do a large quantity of physical damage dealing, then if you were to have Leeuwenhoek T, B and Thales M, then that is a very good option. Okay, now we are at the part of the video where I'm gonna talk about the elf. Now let's select and let's talk about the elf. Now for the fire options, okay, there are basically 3 fire option elf option available in the game: Jingwe's Wing, Book of Fuxi, and the Sirin. Now in case if you are wondering, okay, which one of them is the best, let's talk about the best one. So the best one available, okay, is this one, because this one will be able to provide fire support, healing, and shield breaking. So based on that, all I can gonna say that if you are ever plan on spending any of your crystals, I highly suggest that you try to get this series set. Okay, now what is the second best option? The second best option is the Book of Fuxi, because Book of Fuxi is gonna be able to provide fire support, and because of that your fire Valkyrie characters will have a much higher DPS damage dealing. Okay, Now, what is the third best option? Rather, the third best option is not even an option. This is meant to be a joke, okay? Like, this one will provide some support, but the support is so low that basically even if you do not have this Jingwei swing on the team, you will see that there is not that much of a damage percentage, okay? So when it comes to the maximum amount of damage dealing or support, I highly suggest that you try to get the Sirin by using crystals, and it will definitely be worth it for all of the fire damage dealing Bianca characters, okay? Now what about the physical damage dealing character? For the physical damage dealing character, there are two options. One is Blood Embrace, another one is Stellasora. Now for Blood Embrace, this one is a very good option, okay? Not the best, but a very good option because it does provide physical damage dealing and does provide shield breaking. So if you want to do a large quantity of damage on enemies who are weak against physical damage dealing, then this is a very good option for the physical damage dealing Bianca, okay? Now for this one, Tesla Zero, that is. Now Tesla Zero is basically the best option available at the moment in the game. So let's say if you want to do the maximum amount of physical damage dealing on the enemies, then I highly suggest that you use crystals on this Tesla Zero to try to get her, because this one is a very good option and I highly recommend it. Okay, now another thing about all of the Bianca character is that both Bianca character and this Asuka have one thing in common. They are one of the most broken characters in the game. Now, what do I mean by a broken character? Or for me, what is considered as a broken character? Okay, here's the thing. Majority of the character in this game, the only way they are best is basically when it comes to damage dealing, okay? That is the only thing. But for two of the characters in the game, one is called Asuka, another one is called Durandal. For them, the main thing about them is their ability to use lance thrust, okay? So basically speaking, whenever an enemy comes in front of you, if you were to use their lance thrust or their weapon skill, basically what happens is whenever you use their weapons skill, which doesn't requires any type of SP, it basically slams on the enemy so hard that the enemy will either take some fire damage or will take shield breaking damage, okay? And not only that, let's say you are fighting certain boss, what will happen that those boss, when performing their ultimate animations, those animations can get cancelled, okay, if you were to use those weapon thirst, okay? So that is basically the main importance for all of the lance character in this game. The lance character in this game are so broken that you can basically cancel out the enemies animations. Like, that is the reason why I seems to like this what should I call it, lance character in the game, because there are no other character in this game where you can basically use them in such a manner that it will cancel out the enemies animation, okay? Okay, now we are basically at the final part of the video where I'm gonna give you my conclusion on how this character called Bianca Ataegina is easy to explain. It is easy to explain because all of the Bianca Ataegina character is a is a DPS damage dealing character in the game. That is point number one. And point number two is their weapon skill is made in such a way that it can be activated even when the SP percentage is 0. Okay, that is point number two. And point number three is it will also cancel out the enemy's animation skill, okay? So that is a very huge point, okay? And also, if you are interested in this type of video where I talk about all of the other Valkyrie characters in the game, then I suggest that you go to a certain website called the King 1993 Gaming. But here is the thing, this is basically a website within a website. Basically speaking, I do not have enough money to actually buy this website, so I am currently depending on another website called wix.com to actually provide the URL, which is why the link of this website is gonna be in the description. Basically speaking, what I do is I upload all of the gaming guide and then eventually upload it to this website so that you guys will be able to take full enjoyment in searching out of how easily you can use any of the other characters in the game. Okay, and not only for this, I will be doing updates on other games as well in the future. Okay, so if you like this video, then please give a like and subscribe and click the bell notification icons to get more of this type of video on a regular basis. Okay, thank you and see you again next time.